Hello fellow tankers, right in the middle of summer we have a new assembly shop. Built with Durendal, but I'm sorry guys, I'm not convinced this is a very good tank. Let's first check the armor for a second. If you're playing hull down with 9 degrees of gun depression, you can bounce some shots with the turret. But only if you're right in front of your enemy. If you're not playing completely hull down, you have enough weak spots. Also in the center of a turret, it's pretty obvious everything can pen you here. If you move your turret slightly to the side, it becomes butter as well. You will even have some problems against various HE shells with 40 plus more millimeter penetration. Or in case of a turret 50 plus. So why do I think this tank will not perform as good as many people will assume it would? This is my suggestion here for the equipment, mainly focusing on the gun. You could also use turbo, CVS, even hardening or something like this. It depends completely on your playstyle. I would focus on the gun here, because this is kind of the main gimmick this tank has. Of course with food and with the new aiming gears just improving the gun as well, increasing the reload time sadly, but it is what it is. Most essential cruise skills are here, gun handling, view range, camo, just the basic stuff. Everything else of course is nice, but most likely is not the big deal here. It has a 4 shells clip with a burst of 2 shells, so it shoots 2 shells like Pom-Pom, and then you have to wait 4 seconds until you can shoot the next 2, which also go out like Pom-Pom. All in all, for an autoloader, this is a good DPM. My setup here, I'm reloading around 26.5 seconds, but the thing is you have a Burask-like gameplay, which means you have to play super opportunistic, drive around the corner, give the enemy 1 clip, or in this case 2 shots, and then most likely retreat shortly, because you have a 4 seconds intra-clip reload before you can shoot again. This sucks a little bit. This can be very fun in mid or end game scenarios, where you can just hunt down damaged enemies, which are not taking care of you. But for early game or even mid game, this kind of presses you into the sniper role. And the sniper role kind of have some issues here. I still have with my setup a dispersion of 0.34 and an aiming time of 2.6 seconds. And the dispersion after firing it's still 1.11. So you are not that accurate. And you can't aim that fast after your first shot for that second burst shot, that it would be reliable somehow. It still has very good dispersion factors with my setup here, while on the move, traversing, stuff like this. So it will not bloom out that much, but still the overall dispersion is not that great. You have to be kind of close to the enemy to really do precise shots. And with no armor, this is not possible. The terrain resistance is not the best, but it has quite a good power to weight ratio. So it will reach that 60 kilometers per hour kind of fast, like after 12 seconds, not that bad. It has a workable view range if you play with CVS. On open maps, that should do the trick actually pretty efficiently. You also have a good camo value for a medium tank, which allows you to move around and keep kind of unspotted if you keep your distance to the enemy. And also find a big enough bush to hide behind. 9 degrees of gun depression are pretty comfy to play with. 305mm of APCR penetration, that's the gold shell on this tank, is okay, but it will also lose more penetration than AP shells over the distance. So again, for a long-range sniper tank, this is not working very good. So again, you have to go kind of close to the enemy, and I think other tanks can do this much better. I'd still would say the Badget is doing this far more efficiently, and also the TVP. Let's take a look at both of those. They aren't so different actually. TVP has a much faster intra-clip reload with 1.5 seconds. It has the far better aim time, the far better dispersion. Only downside here is the dispersion while moving or traversing, but this will equal out at least if you are using stabilizers. So I think they are pretty equal in terms of what they can do, but with the TVP being much more flexible and mobile. Camo values are as well pretty similar to each other. So the difference between those two is kind of 800,000 free XP. Let's check the gun after firing of the Durendal. You are fully aimed after around 1.4 seconds, which is pretty good, but still you have to be stationary, and you have to wait 2.5 more seconds until your clip is reloaded. And I mean your intra-clip, so just the second 2 shells. Speed is decent with making it possible after around 2.5 seconds to reach the 60 kilometers per hour on hard terrain. With the right crew skills you need around 11.6 on soft terrain. So what's the issue with this tank? Well, it's not that different from the TVP or the Badget in terms of what is its role on the battlefield. It has that gimmick Pom-Pom cannon, which can be fun, but the worst part is just the price. This is extremely late game content. You would have to spend 1 million free XP, which equals like 3 tier 11 tanks, researching them and completely maxing them out. This is, in my opinion, insane. Yes, you can lower this with using blueprints for a certain amount of percentages, but blueprints are actually pretty hard to come by these days. Wargaming is really not handing them out anymore, so I would rather save mine for skipping occasionally a tech tree tank, which I don't like. Otherwise, that thing would cost like 50,000 bonds. Well, there's not much to do with bonds these days, but maybe for bond equipment or in the bond shop you can find something better with it. If you're swimming in credits, you could also go with over 125 million. Pretty insane how many gold rounds you can shoot with that credits. So yeah, depending on how many resources you still have, maybe I would suggest something like 200,000 free XP, 50 million credits, 20,000 bonds. But all in all, I'm not gonna buy that tank actually. Tier 10 became kind of useless in my opinion. looking at all those new tier 11 tanks. You also have to shoot a lot of APCR rounds with the Durendal, so it will cost a lot. And it has a very high skill cap. I think very good players will have fun with it. Let's say like the best 5% of World of Tanks players. And for all the rest, it's just a cash grab from Wargaming to abuse FOMO and people who think they can play with Durendal good. Even if you suck playing with Durendal but have fun with it, that's absolutely fine. Buras can also be a fun tank to play even if you are not performing that well. A very nice little extra for fun this tank has is the Modul Damage. You do 165, this is okay, but because after half second that second burst shell is coming immediately, you have very high chances to damage modules and set the enemy on fire or make the ammo explode. Also for demobilizing the enemy, shooting at his tracks. That could work pretty good. So what can I say? All in all, it's a good tank. It has some little gimmicks which stand out. I don't think it will be one of the best tier 10 tanks, rather in the upper middle, just because very good players can play it pretty decent. But mediocre and bad players, no chance, this thing will suck in their hands. My biggest issue is the price. It's definitely not worth it in my opinion. But if you are like Trump rich in World of Tanks and don't care about anything anymore, then go for it, Durendal. Tell me how good you are performing in it, if it was worth it, and if it's really something else than the TVP over bad shit. Thank you guys for being interested in this. Thanks for watching and cheers bros. And maybe try out the OG Pom-Pom tank on tier 4, the Cruiser 4.